Right, we are live. Welcome everybody to this thing we do on a Sunday. And
Hello.
We are really pleased to say we've got Simon on. We've been talking about doing this for quite a while now. And the day has finally come. So welcome, Simon. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Thank you very much. A little bit jaded, as I mentioned earlier. It's my lovely wife's birthday today, and we went out for a few drinkies yesterday up in the Big Smoke in London. So today has literally been a little bit of a write-off. So I'm far too old to be like boozing.
We'll go gentle on you, shall we?
Yeah, well, we're feeling absolutely shattered today.
Yeah,
we've been going since 7 this morning. So
yeah, our neighbours were partying, and then we were up early to go to a flea market, lugging a car full of stuff up 2 flights of stairs. It was, yeah, you don't want to know. That's for another video. Anyway, before we kick off, and we're excited to hear about your business, which is selling clothing full time. You turn over big numbers, and we're going to delve into how you manage to do that and talk about your business. But we do have a couple of quick thank yous, which we'll do. Chris, hopefully Chris B is in. Sent us a card with,
yes, and Catherine, of course.
in case I run out of screws, I've now got spare and a bottle of wine, which didn't last very long.
I didn't
Chris.
know we had it that night.
Do you want to quickly do the one from Lucy?
Oh yeah, and then we had this card, and inside it says, "Nick and Andrea, congratulations on your new home. So glad you still have the Tat Cave sign. Lots of love, Lucy." I was the person that sent it to you.
We couldn't remember, Lucy, and I apologise, but it was so long ago, wasn't it? But we still have it. I haven't put it up yet, so at the moment it's here.
Yeah, but that will be going.
So that solved that mystery. Thank you, Lucy.
Point.
And then quickly, I did mention this in my last video, but Karin sent me a rail, and it hangs like little cups and hooks and little things with magnets on, so I can get organised with scissors.
Yeah, very handy.
As if my scissors are going to stay hung on here, right? I think Simon's way more organised than me, so you might be organised there.
The fact that Karin, bless her, thinks that you're going to get organised.
I can try, right? We can all try. So we are live. If you are live, please say hello in the side chat. We'll say a couple of hellos, but we do have a lot to talk about today, so we won't go through the whole chat. If you post any questions, we'll try and get to them, but again, it's really tricky to keep up with the chat.
First in was Ricky saying the one, the only gentleman marketeer. So that's a good introduction.
Good to see you, Ricky. Oh, the voting's nearly finished for the awards. If you haven't voted in the eBay awards, there's links all over eBay. Go and cast your vote if you haven't.
Yeah, has it finished yet?
No, I think it's Monday.
Oh no, Lone Wolf says I've just voted for Ricky. Lone Wolf has a question, but we will come back to that.
Yes, we'll just do a few hellos. There's Chris.
Yeah, I did highlight that. So yeah, Chris in the chat, and Justin, hello, James, Lucy's car boot sale.
Is that the same Lucy that we were just? Is that the same Lucy? I don't know.
No, spelled differently.
Oh, okay.
And then Kerry North, who said, very interested. I'm not making £100 a month at this point, with over 500 listings. That does say I'm not, doesn't it? Yes. Didn't read it wrong. Hello, Ross. Good evening, Nick and Andrea. I'm slipping. I can't think of a random or eccentric update this week.
Fair enough. Just being here is enough, Ross. Don't panic.
And then there's Tara. Hello, Tara. And Anastasia. Hello, Anastasia. And James Boldfines.
Everybody's in.
And yeah, Leslie.
They're turning up en masse for you, Simon.
Hello, Will. Hello, Sharon. I did see we had a message from you, but haven't had a chance to look at it yet. We haven't really had a lot of time since we got in.
Right. Shall we just say a big hello to everybody in the chat and get down to the end?
Everybody. Let me just.
If you go back to that question, but we'll start with a bit of a general question.
Derek's in. Hello, Derek.
Hi, Derek.
And see Blaney. Just oh look. Shell says 3 legends together.
Well, we'll take it.
I'd say 2, maybe.
Well, you two.
No. Oh, Claire, hello from Ramsgate. Hello back from Ramsgate.
Right, let's get to the end of the chat. We've got lots and lots to talk about.
Hello, Sharon.
Just saying before, these chats tend to go in a flash for us. It'll be an hour long, but it'll feel like 10 minutes. So
what's it with the crowns next to some people's names? I don't know. I think they've changed it. We're in StreamYard. We can't see that. But I think
it's to do
have
with how much you comment and you get top
changed it.
commenters and
Okay.
stuff. I think. I don't really know.
Yeah, something like that.
Right,
Just
are you at the end?
just scooching down, making sure I don't miss anything. Hello, big hello to everybody else.
Right, if you go back, and we will get back to that question in a bit.
And we'll highlight that.
But Simon, I suppose a good place to start would be, where did it start for you? Can we quickly cover kind of how you got into this, and maybe at the same time answer why clothing?
Yeah.
Should we start there?
I think, and I'm going to really like kind of. I try to be in any of my videos, anything that I do, any interaction that anyone has with me, I will be absolutely brutally honest. I will give the positives, I'll give the negatives, because like sometimes, like including me, like with like YouTubers, you put these kind of headlines like you grab attention, 10,000 a month, like yeah. If you drill into it, okay, like there is more to it than just that. So where did it all start? I think a little bit different to you guys. It appears that you were very much kind of like self-made people. You had your own businesses, whereas I was very much like, I worked for the man for a good 35 years. So I was in the corporate world. I was like a car salesman, I was a baker, I was a publican, I was a kitchen designer, you name it, I've done everything. And I've always worked hard, but it's always been different. I've always been working for someone. And it was probably only maybe, I'm trying to think, maybe 5 years ago that I started getting into dabbling in a little bit of reselling. And I started off by selling like hyped trainers. So hype trainers are basically like kind of these in-demand high-end trainers, sneakers, if you're in America, that you could buy and then flip for like good margins. So that's how I kind of like started that side of it. But that model, like soon I realized was just like, it's a terrible model. And there are people who do it, but you have to have huge amounts of money. When these like items are 150, 200 pounds an item, and you might make 50 pounds like profit from it, the margins are thing. And then that's when I discovered like car boot sales, and suddenly you're buying something for £2-3 and selling it for 50, 60, 70 pounds. You suddenly go, right.
I remember when the whole hype thing kicked off, there were videos of guys in America like almost camping out for the new releases of a pair of trainers. Yeah. And then they'd put thousands down if they could, as many as they could buy, they'd buy, and just flip them straight onto eBay. So the line would sell out instantly, and then you could only get them online. Was that the model basically?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. In the UK, it was a little bit different because everything was pretty much online. We didn't really have going to the stores. Like to some degree, that did happen, but fundamentally, and it was all about having like, and it's a very murky world, that one. It's all about having bots and like manipulating like the search algorithms, and like it's a real kind of like you're flying by the seat of your pants. It's not a very nice way of doing business.
It feels a little bit like the whole tickets thing for gigs. That to me,
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
There were times when I was basically called a scalper, and like fundamentally that's. Like if the cap fits, like that's exactly what I was doing at the time. To be fair, I kind of didn't realize like kind of like the enormity of it. So yeah, I was that person who was selling, and I know I'm going to get hate for this, but I was selling like during like COVID, hot tubs.
Hot tubs.
Yeah, inflatable hot tubs.
I didn't expect you to say hot tubs at the end of that sentence.
I know. Yeah, buy them for, what was I buying those for? 120, selling them for 500.
Nice.
So, but again, like then you was like deemed to be like, then they sold out in the stores, so like then no one could get them. So that's
right.
where. But for me, like the model when it comes into kind of like, I think it's super important. Like for new people, is to like sell everything. Learn the craft about like reselling, and I'm a massive advocate for knowing like, but like, would I ever go back to that model as in buying everything? What you guys do, I couldn't do it. It's just too much for me.
Interesting. So part of my initial question was the why clothing. So you did try being a generalist. So what made you stick to clothing? What was the appeal that made you think this is the niche I'm going to go for and stick with?
Do you know what? I can actually remember the time. I don't know exactly. It was one item that I purchased, and I knew that was the crux. And I bought from a car boot sale a £5 CRTV by Sony. One of these like the square TVs. I got £5. Yes, that's definitely sold it for 90, I think it was. And then I realized I had to pack it up. And then I had to send it. And then I had to worry that it was going to get to the customer without like breaking and smashing. And at that point, it took me, and I even got my wife to help me to actually pack it. And I think it took me something like 2.5 hours. It was just ridiculous. And at that point, that's when I was going, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be an easier way to make money.
Well, I didn't enjoy when we were clothing specialists, which was just before we started YouTube. We had a warehouse and we were doing it in a big way, and I just didn't get on with it. But the one redeeming factor was you could chuck it in a poly mailer and sling it in a post. Right, we just had sacks and we'd just throw them around and nothing could break. Right, that was the one redeeming factor for me. So I do get it. I get that side of it for sure.
And not like now where you have to package jugs and plates.
Some of the things Andrea buys for me to sell, well, for me to package, tea sets, great big glass vases.
I do think there was a point where I actually sold I got a load of Disney mugs. These and I think I've done a retail arbitrage from like Tesco or something like that. And I bought loads of them, like maybe like 100 of these mugs, and they were going out, trickling out, like it was close to Christmas, selling them for £9.99 or something like that. And I kid you not, as much as I tried to like package them to the inch of their life, I'd say 50% of them broke in night transit. But it was just like, and that I take responsibility because that's bound to like be me not packaging them well enough. But it was just, and that's another thing that just might think, I can't be doing with this. Whereas, like, if I've got an item, that is not breaking.
And it's an interesting point because you should always play to your strengths, right? And if your strength and what you enjoy isn't packing things up, right, just swerve it and do something else. And this is a fine example of that. I still bizarrely do enjoy the whole packing process. Sometimes it's a bit of a pain in the arse.
You're very good at it.
I don't think it's a bad thing as long as you like. I know I'm boring and I go on about this, but if you're set up for a certain item, if you're set up for like doing like breakables, you better make sure that you've got like the absolute best setup. So you make sure that you've actually got all the boxes that are going to be exactly the size. You've got all the bubble wrap in the world. You've got the table that's nice and clear that you can actually just go on there. You've got the tape. As long as you've got everything all sorted, then that is easy. It's when you actually have to do other things that you do, like a vase, and then you've got a VCR player, and then you've actually got a sombrero. Then you've got that. That's where, for me, that's where it gets hard.
Yeah, you just described the battle I face most days, to be honest.
Leslie says, I enjoy the challenge of packaging. Mirrors are not easy.
Mirrors and pictures.
We've got a couple of mirrors that we need to list.
So we will get back to that interesting question at some point and dig into that a bit. But I just want to, before we get into that, can you just cover what platforms you currently sell on and maybe what ones you have sold on and dropped if you've done that?
Yeah. So I'm on eBay exclusively, and the reason and again, I don't know if this is kind of like frowned upon or not, but I was approached by eBay to go on to a program, which basically means it's an exclusivity contract. They give me reduced fees as long as I don't sell on other platforms. So it's a real kind of like, it's one of those things that sometimes I think, is it worth it? And there's other times I actually think, when I'm actually having slow sales, I think it's the worst contract in the world. When I'm actually having like killer sales, then I'm going like, this is it. And don't get me wrong, like it's not like kind of like I'm not getting zero fees. Like, I'm still paying a lot of fees, but it just means that I can't sell on other platforms.
That's really interesting. I didn't know they offered that, kind of like a golden handshake
I have
thing.
heard of that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, we certainly don't have that, and we're starting to dabble with Vinted now, and looking forward to going big on there if we can.
No, I don't think that we could.
I
exclusivity,
think
whatever they were offering.
I think they offer it to, like, but the only other people I know who are on it, they're exclusively one category only. So, for example, for me, it's just on clothing. I don't have it on anything. If I sold a video player or a projector, okay, I don't get those kind of reduced fees. It's only on the category they specify.
Interesting.
Derek, going back to packaging, says, yeah, I sell a lot of big electronics and CRT TVs. You need to be set up for packaging, lots of different size boxes, etc.
Yeah.
And then Ross says, started clothing, as did charity shops. When I started, car boot became a generalist. I enjoy packing like Nick. I find in my working life, lack of variety is bad for my mental health. So everything seller. Now that was exactly how
that was part of it for me, actually. A lot of this is a lifestyle choice. I do this for my mental health. I do this because I want to be in control of my life. So when I was getting really bogged down doing clothing and wasn't enjoying it, it was like, screw this, right? And just went back to enjoying going out, not knowing what I'm looking for. I love that kind of.
You were getting depressed.
Yeah, as much as that. And because we are in control of what we do and we can change it, do. And if it's working for you, as you've explained, it's working for you, go all in, right? But otherwise change it. You don't have to stick with one thing. And I couldn't do it.
No, do what suits you.
Yes.
Warders Clubber says, the exact thing I love about being just purely in clothing, streamlining the process, picturing, listing, shipping, weirdly satisfying for me. When I did purely clothing, it drove me mad because I'm just too perfectionist. So I drove myself mad because it took me forever to do anything, because I wanted it to be completely crease free, everything perfect, stain free. I couldn't do it.
It was just taking too long, wasn't it? Stressing you out.
I can just wash ceramics now.
Yeah.
And me, just saying that this is what I do, and I'm all about making sure that life is as easy as possible. I like the path of least resistance.
Right.
That, as you said, is not for everyone. That just because that's what I do, that doesn't mean that that's going to suit you or it's going to suit as other people. The important part of this is actually finding what works for you, and so some people might actually find that it's not all about the grind. It's not all about making as much money as possible. It might be right, okay, can I give myself 3 days, 4 days off a week and actually have a little bit of a nice life? Then that is the absolute thing. If you're like me personally, I live in an absolutely ridiculously expensive area. I'm not that far from central London. It's kind of just up the road. And everything is ridiculously expensive. And I'll be brutally honest, okay, because I worked for the man, okay, I made okay money, but I didn't make enough money for me to suddenly go I'm going to be set up for the rest of my life. So now that is why, if you ever see me on any of my videos, I'm working 7 days a week. I work probably 12 to 15 hours a day, because I want to put myself into a position that ideally, when I get to 60, I'm in a financial position to actually go, do you know what? Okay, house is paid off. We've got a nice chunk of money. Maybe we've got some investments. Right. At that point, then I can start to slow down. I'm 52 now. I've got 8 years to actually achieve what I want to achieve. So it might mean that people will look at me. My wife looks at me and says you're going to basically kill yourself. But I've got this goal that I want to be in a position in 8 years' time. If you're in your 20s, if you're in your 30s, then you got more time on your side. I personally don't have as much time.
That's amazing to hear. We were kind of in your mindset 20 years ago. And we kind of did that absolutely crazy hours work. We were obsessed, and we had a mission. You've got a mission to set yourself up. We went through that exact thing, and I admire that. in you
We
completely.
were 6 days a week, weren't we, at that point?
If not 7, many.
We had one day off. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, probably 7 when you think about all
I was
the remote
sourcing
stuff we
at
did,
the
but
weekends, but
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But for when we had the shop, one of us had a day off in the week just so that we could do life stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, but we all have
Yeah.
different motivations and at different stages in our life. And I think it's interesting because sometimes people with YouTube, they see this little snippet of our lives and they compare that to theirs. And sometimes I don't understand where we're coming from or what we're trying to achieve or what we're trying to do. And yeah, it's sometimes hard to explain without the whole backstory of how we got here and what we're trying to do.
The trouble is there are a lot of people that want to compare themselves. And I say this over and over like a broken record, that reselling is so vast, and the beauty of it is that it is not one size fits all, and you can fit it to suit your own lifestyle and whatever financial needs you need out of it. You know, it's not the same thing. There's not one formula for reselling. It can be anything.
Agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't all come down to money. But Lone Wolf posed a very interesting question at the beginning, which if you're happy to touch on, he says, are we allowed to post questions before they're live? If so, I'd like to ask if the actual monthly profit is nearer £10 than 10K. No ifs, no buts, but a simple yes or no will suffice. So let's say you turned over 10K in a month. What would you, if you're able to share, what would you think you would be able to take out from that?
Yeah, no, and again, that's like that is the big thing. Like, you see these big numbers and you suddenly go like, wow, what are they doing? Like, is that true? Is that just, I think, so me turning over like £10,000 like in a month, I would expect to like get like a 30% return. So probably about 3,000-ish pounds. But the big like downside, unfortunately, is because I've got to a certain level. So I'm at that dreaded point of VAT. So I have to pay VAT on every single item that I purchase. So like the government wants that. Guess what? I buy it from charity shops, boot sales, like Vinted. I can't claim that VAT back because I'm on a margin scheme. So
we used to do that, yeah.
So I can only they will take the VAT, but I can't claim any back. So
sorry to interrupt. Silly question. I thought, maybe I'm remembering one, that clothing was exempt. No?
No, I still have to pay VAT on that.
I imagine that.
Children's clothing is exempt.
That's why we'd had a clothing.
For a brief time, we had a children's clothing high street shop, and that's where I remember that. Okay.
Yeah. But then you got VAT, you've also got corporation tax, got my own personal tax. So all those like extra bits and pieces. So like it looks like you're doing like kind of like, well, 10,000. Wow, you must be like criminal. I'm earning less than I did when I was like working in like a full-time job. But the difference being is I love what I do now compared to like what I used to do. So the lifestyle is so much better.
Right. Yeah. The satisfaction and the control and the not having a boss is worth a pay cut in my book.
Absolutely.
We've always done quite well out of this, but you know, we don't earn a fortune now because we put ourselves in a position where we don't have to.
Exactly.
Where you're going to get to, right? And exactly that.
Derek is interested to know how you're finding your new shed.
Derek, that is it is one of. It was brutal. I'm a very much like of the opinion that in my head, I think I can do things like perfectly, straight away, super quickly. I had in my head that I would actually complete this in 2 weeks. Took 2 months to actually do it. So it took a lot longer. It cost me more money than I expected, but it is the best investment like for my business I've ever had. It's just like everything is purpose built. I've got racking all here. I've got more racking over there. I've got a dedicated like photo set up. I've got a packing set up. I've got my computer here. So for me, and I now don't have like any warehouse costs. I like for me, and it is like 15 steps to my house.
Right.
But it's separate enough.
So it's kind of one of those garden office type.
That's it. Yeah.
Thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
I built it myself.
Excellent. Wow. Well done. That's awesome.
Yeah. And Master of Pieces says, I'm interested to know how many hours a day you're working now, Simon, now that you've got the shed.
It's still bad. It's still bad, and it is more efficient now, but it's still a lot. Like, and sometimes like it's embarrassing to actually say how many hours I do. So some people might be shocked at this, and like kind of like they might even call me out as being absolutely off your head. But my working day, my alarm goes off at 5 o'clock in the morning. I come down, I have my first coffee, and I'm in the office by 5:30 at the latest. And I will normally work till early evening, 6-7 o'clock. And usually I will work like kind of like maybe like an hour or so before I go to bed. And I have a hard cut off that I have to be in bed by midnight. So I need like I need like 5 hours sleep. So
I would say you need more than 5 hours sleep health wise.
Yeah,
I'm with your wife here.
I couldn't do that.
I would be very worried.
I mean,
because that's not healthy.
We touched on earlier, we used to work a lot when we had the high street shop and we were going outsourcing at the weekend and running the shop 6 days a week. But to do those hours, that would kill me. That's amazing. You can do that, to be honest.
I think you say like it's amazing. I've done a lot of soul searching as well. That I recognize that that's not sustainable. I've probably been doing this for maybe those kind of hours, probably a year and a half. Like, so I've been doing it for a long time. And it is normal, but I do wake up, and I think this is the difference. Like when I woke up to go to work, like it was like, oh, right, here we go, off to work again.
Right.
Okay. I honestly wake up in the morning, right, got to get my coffee, right, okay, let's go there. What have I got to get done today? And I'm very focused about like, and I love what I do. So it might sound like you're doing like all these hours, okay, but for me, it's like I quite enjoy it. I don't really have any hobbies outside of this. So this for me is the thing. And I recognize that people would like call this obsessive. To some degree, I think it is.
Well, clearly that's got to be part of your personality, right? You go all in. You're that kind of character, I guess.
Yeah.
Would that be true? All right. Yeah.
I think so. I have definitely got some tendencies.
Yeah.
That I
just going to say, because I'm a bit of a nurturer, I'm just going to say, please look after yourself though, because your wife does still want you when you're 60.
She does, and that is like, and like a lot of my videos when I'm really, if I'm having like a bit of a meltdown, if I'm having like a bit of a like a thing, it always comes down to that I put the business ahead of everything else, and including myself and my own health. And I know for a full well that I'm not looking after my the bit that kind of like I struggle with is not eating like correctly. Like I don't eat, and then like I a massive like box of chocolates. So it's ridiculous.
Well, one way to look at it that helped me a long time is with us. I mean, there's two of us, but essentially you are the business. So you have to look after you, because without you, there is no business. So that if that helps, right?
Yeah.
You first, really. It needs to be you first, because you are it, right?
Like they say when you get on an aeroplane, if you have to put your seatbelt on first or your gas mask on first or whatever.
That got a bit dark.
I know.
I think Andrew is absolutely right, and it is something that I do kind of like struggle with. That I think when you are so obsessed and like that, and I think if you look at like high performing, if you like listen to any of the really high performing people in industry, like literally they're all like obsessive, like they obsess about things and they don't look after themselves. That for some reason, like it's very few, unless you really get to a high level. It's not to say that I'm trying to like get to like this like super high level, but I think it's just in my DNA to like just to push hard.
Right. You did highlight a question. Did you want to touch on that?
Project Games said, going back to the eBay contract, did they approach you or did you approach them?
they approached me. So I got a phone call from them like a couple of years ago, and they said, right, we are approaching certain sellers. We'd like you to go there. And yeah, they were quite pressurizing. They really wanted us to like sign up. So and then it came to the end. So it's a year contract. So it got to the end of it, and then like this year, I was going to go, nah, there's no way I'm doing this, like, because I'm going to go to Vinted, because like all the sales are coming. So they like put another, like dangled another carrot. I'm going, oh, all right, then I'll carry on with you.
Right. Okay, interesting. David's got a question which is similar to one that I had about your sourcing methods. David says, have you ever tried lost luggage as a source? I buy loads from airport auctions. I'd love to try that, you know. Yeah. I've never bought stock from car boots or charity shops. And to add to David's question, I want to ask if you've tried the wholesalers, which there's a few of them around now. So what is your sourcing method?
Again, that's a really good question, and I obviously I get lots of questions in my in comments about where do you get your stock from, and again, I'm brutally honest with you. Like, I get it from car boot sales, charity shops, Vinted, a tiny bit of wholesale. I'm not a big fan of wholesale at all, which like is contradictory to a lot of people. But I don't find that a lot of kind of wholesale is very good. I'm very much of the opinion that I like hand picking. Every single item that goes into my store, I've physically touched, held, inspected. It meets my margins when it comes to profit. It meets my margins when it comes to sell through, how quickly I'm going to sell it. And like my cost of goods. So like as long as it comes into that, then I'm happy. But I've not tried the airport auctions, and I've not really gone down auctions either. That may be something to look at.
It was interesting hearing you mention sourcing on Vinted, because you're not the only one. I know George does really well doing that, George Ross, and there are others. And it's fascinating that you can get stuff that much cheaper on Vinted to flip on eBay. It fascinates me. Clothing is a wonderful, wacky world. It's a strange niche all of its own.
I don't think it is just clothing though. I think personally, like, I think there's a couple of like key reasons. There's a couple of whys of actually how to like become successful. If you can put in the maximum amount of effort, so if you do more than anyone else, is likely you're going to be successful. But more important than that, if you've got more knowledge, if you have more knowledge than anyone else, then you're. So for example, if someone actually put that they've listed a jacket on Vinted, and it's like something called a Fjallraven jacket, and they've got it for £10. Well, instantly I know that I can sell that on eBay off the top of my head for £60 to £80. So I'm buying that instantly. Like, as long as you've got the knowledge of whatever niche you're in. For example, like Nick would like I'm loving like watching your videos when it comes to all the Warhammer stuff and like D&D. That was my bag back in the day. That was like kind of like when I was a boy, like that was me. Like I had all that. I was your typical like the D&D geek. I was like there. That for me, if I could actually have a niche and actually like if I could get inundated of that, I'd go into that all day long. I would like specialize in that. All this, okay, I'll sell it all. If I could go into that niche, I'll have it. But it's having that knowledge.
That haul I'm working through now was just a dream come true for me. And funnily enough, with D&D, I didn't and still don't really have the knowledge, but I'm learning so much whilst processing this haul. It's incredible. It really is.
If you could do that as a niche, like full time, would you do it?
You'd struggle to get the stock.
Yeah, I know.
You really would. I mean, this kind of fell into my lap, and we struck a deal, and it's been a godsend. It really has. It's got us through a few sticky months, and it's been knowledge. Going back to your point, knowledge is everything in this game when you think about it. It really is. And I always say I know a little bit, enough to get in trouble in most niches is what I know. But that's kind of how I like it. But I'm continually learning. And I was going to ask you, I assume you're continually learning. There's a new brand every week, right? Or there's a new trend every week. How much are you brand led, or is it fashion and trends that you follow?
That's a really good thing, because I specialize in fundamentally men's clothing.
Right.
So men's clothing is very like brand orientated. So a brand kind of like, if you look at top trumps, brand will be like your one you're looking out for. So it might be Orvis, it might be Musto, it might be like any of these like brands. The brands, in some instances, will like just sell whatever it is. But there is also like, when it comes into things like styles, so there may well be styles within brands that brands you like, there's no way I'm picking up that. I pick up Primark. Now Primark stuff is the lowest of the low, like literally no one buys it. But if you know what styles within Primark sell, then I'm picking those up.
Yeah. And you just described the sort of knowledge you can only gain from doing this day in, day out. You couldn't teach that, really. You could try, but it would have changed in 6 months' time or in 6 weeks' time.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's different though when it comes to women's clothing, because I think women's, yes, brand is very important, but style, I think, and that is like such a massive, like.
I was just going to.
And even colours from season to season.
So Primark do a lot of dupes, don't they? So that's why Primark ends up being, some things from Primark end up being expensive.
What is it? What's a dupe?
In terms of like, they take something that's designer and then they make a copy of it.
Oh, I see.
Something similar to it.
And they do deals with certain brands sometimes, don't they? Or certain Disney niches and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We've had Shelley's comment pinned for ages.
Because I thought it was hilarious.
Shall I read that? The look of confusion on Nick's face when Simon said 5 a.m. I was like, I'd still be up.
It's followed by Lainey saying, that's when Nick goes to bed.
She's not wrong. See, this is it. I'm kind of the other way around. When I get going and when I get into my groove, I just keep going. I've always been a night owl anyway. So I will still be working at 3, 4, sometimes 5 a.m. I'll see the sun come up.
That's most days. But the problem is then when we have something on like today, where you have to get up at 7 in the morning.
I can't sleep. I get virtually no sleep. Anyway.
Leslie says, would you consider staff? It might be the way to increase profit and reduce hours worked. Your schedule doesn't seem sustainable.
Great question.
And it is definitely that. I've had a conversation with my wife to see if she would like come into the business as well. But surprisingly, she doesn't really have any interest in it. My wife's a hairdresser by trade, so that's what she does for a living. So I'm still, and I think that the control freak in me is still kind of like, it's hard to justify paying someone's wages to do something that I'm more than capable of doing myself. And then you've got the extra issues when it comes to employing people and other stuff. At some point, definitely that's something what I need to do.
Yeah, we when we had our high street outlets, we had staff, and I struggled with exactly what you just said, paying someone else to do what I could do, and I would micromanage, and I really struggled with that. Actually, it'll be interesting if you do go that route to see how you find it, because it's not easy finding someone you can trust to do the work that you would do.
Yeah. For
a control freak like me, and I don't want to say that you are, but I think you have some of the traits I do. It's going to be difficult.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, Darren, yes, we did. Thank you for reminding us, because we didn't bring it down with us. Should I go and get it?
Oh God, yes. We did some thank yous at the beginning.
Yeah,
we'll carry on chatting.
Yeah.
I completely forgot. I think
I'm knocking over a big table. Sorry, excuse me. I'm just
we're surrounded by stuff because I built the like meter tall. I stand to work these days. You may have seen recently I built a big unit. So when we came to sit down here, the laptop was up there and we were down here. So I've had to rearrange the whole office just to sit down. Anyway, you didn't need to know that. Yes, Darren. Andrew's just going to pop upstairs and get your kind gifts. Right, let's see if there's any other questions whilst Andrea's gone. C. Blaney says, I'm with you, Andrea. Gentleman marketeer needs to look after himself more, please. There we go. You've been told.
I have been told. I mean, it's not the first person to have said it.
Okay. RJ's World. I was told in the 90s, never get married to the job. I'm 59 and my health was going downhill. Health,
probably.
Take care of yourself, Simon. So everyone's telling you now to look after yourself. Oh, fantastic. Right, we're going to do another quick thank you, Simon. So bear with us.
So I don't knock it over when I try and squeeze through.
Because people have been beyond generous, as they always are. So we got a surprise package from Darren. And this is crazy. You really shouldn't have done, but I'm overwhelmed. It's a double live LP that I do not have in the collection, which is a miracle in itself. Haven't opened it yet. Haven't played it, but that was just beyond. Thank you so much. And then do you want to quickly share your...
Yeah. So my little gift was this. I got a sugar and creamer set in Cath Kidston. And funnily enough, Darren, I've got the bigger jug like that that I use for gravy, which I've had for years. So they match.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Darren. That was so generous of you. And it was a lovely surprise when we opened it.
It's funny because I'm a vinyl collector. That's the one collection I allow myself to have these days. So that turned up and I'm thinking, oh, I bought some vinyl. What did I buy? I couldn't think. I was so confused when I opened it. Right. Okay. I was just reading in the chat, seeing if we can touch on some questions. Oh, Neil's in. Hey, Neil. Right.
You don't know how this crown thing works.
I don't really.
About it.
Do you want to read Ross's?
Oh, okay. Ross says, I completely get the energy, Simon. For some people, the corporate world is all right, but for some, it's poisonous after a while. Can definitely understand the not having control over your life at a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then,
I think many people resonate with that. It's kind of the reason we got into this. It was partly that, and partly because we were having a child, which turned out to be Ellen, our daughter, and we just thought we're just going to jump ship and do our own thing and be there for Ellen, and that, and not wanting to work for the man. That was it. Yeah. We were done.
Matt says, Simon's recent video about a wholesale lot of tweed was good. Not sponsored, no unrealistic expectations, just straight
back info, I think.
Info. Okay.
Excellent. I must confess, I haven't watched many because you're in a niche that I'm not in at all. The interest isn't really there, but I've watched a few leading up to this, and yeah, your videos are great. You're really good at what you do. And I wanted to quickly ask, why did you jump into YouTube? What was your thinking behind that?
I was very negative about it. I just didn't want to get into it. I think it was like James Bold Finds, actually, at the time he was doing it. And he kept banging on about Simon, you should give it a go. Just give it a go. And stupidly, I thought, I'll put out one, and you know what it's like. And then suddenly you go, it's quite interesting. I quite enjoy this. And I suppose YouTube is a little bit of my kind of hobby. Mm-hmm. I quite enjoy that side of it. I find the editing quite therapeutic and relaxing, so it's a little bit different to what I normally do. So that's probably why I got into that side of it. And I'm obviously in Tech and Sports Group, and we've got Mel back from Burnout, and James who hosts the social media call that I go into, and they're really good about helping you us improve and learning more. And I do think just everything I try to do in my life is all about trying to grow and improve and get better.
Yeah, and Mel's great at encouraging people and pushing people forward. I bet she had a hand in that. And I was there for her when she started. I was really pushing her and trying to encourage her to do the stuff. And we all kind of passed that on, right? And
she's flying now.
Yeah. And I told her she'll surpass us in no time.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah. Anastasia says, can I ask which sell better, men's or women's clothes?
There's a lot more women's clothing out there. So if you want to you're going to have the bigger bite of the cherry. Women buy more, without a doubt. But in my expectations, and like this is like not be all and end all that advice, the amount of stuff that I go through, like when I'm looking at it, if I do like get big bundles of it, like women's, a lot of it is really low value stuff. There is a real big shift for women buying Shein, Temu, Primark, and it is like sustainability is horrendous. So I think that there is like there's a better like chance. I think you will probably do better if you like sell women's, but you've just got to process a hell of a lot more.
You might set Andrew off on a rant here. That's for another video.
That's for another video.
The whole Temu Shein thing.
It's terrible.
Mel says, no, not Mel, because you were talking about Lex. Lex says, would you normally be at work at this time on a Sunday? And if so, are you invoicing Nick for the time?
It's tax deductible, so yes, absolutely.
I'm just having a look at my list. As usual, we've covered most of this. One I put down here, because you touched on it before, you know, you're part of the Tech and Sports thing, and his philosophy is about kind of scaling up and being organized and methodical. So have you got any tips that you've learned along the way with trying to scale your business up? There are a couple of tips you could give that really helped you.
Yeah, it's probably like that. Whenever you like listen to like tech's kind of advice and all that side of it, for 99% of people, they don't really want to hear it, and that's an awful thing to say. But the thing is, though, you've just got to work harder and you've got to know more. It's a thing. If you want to grow a business to like a really good level, you've just got to put in maximum effort. I think one of his like terms is like, if you want maximum profits, you have to put in maximum effort. If you want to have minimum profits, put in minimum effort. It's a thing, and I get it, and that is like we touched on it earlier. That's not for everyone. Like going hard, everything, working 7 days a week, and like putting maximum effort into everything you do. That's not for everyone, and I do recognise that. But for me, just what I learned, he kind of like being in that group. He just supercharged my business from going. Someone who thought he was doing okay to learning about kind of like the finer intricacies of running a bigger business. And I, by no stretch of the imagination, so I think I'm going to like hopefully like end on probably about £120,000 turnover this year, which is and that's like down for what I was hoping. I was hoping to like be close to the 200 mark this year, but I've had like built this has made put a big like spanner in the works for I think 2 months out of it. But that all being said, like I'm still like pretty small fry when I talk to like people in the group who are doing and these are like in the UK it's hard to actually quantify it, but we talk to people like who are doing multiple millions of like dollars like on a regular basis, like some really like huge amounts of money. So and it's when you're in like a group of like people who are like they're cheerleading for you, like they're supportive and they're like giving you guidance to actually like get to these next levels. I think like I think I put in a like a video like a little while ago. Find your people. So I'm incredibly lucky that the people I surround myself in, we've all got the same kind of like mentality. I've got James, I've got Luke, Waters Clobber, I've got Shell really sells, Fox Black. Like we're kind of like a really tight knit little group, and we're all like striving for to get to these like higher levels.
And when you talked about your numbers there, you're essentially a one-man band doing those numbers. I mean, yeah. Don't discredit what you're doing. That's incredible to me. Really.
But like that, and this is like possibly where like I never like think I fully believe in my heart of hearts I can do £300,000 on my own. I'm convinced I can do that. So the only thing that's actually stopping me from doing that is actually having that magic golden goose who will deliver me the incredible stuff on a regular basis, and I'll just get it listed.
Yeah. Well, if I could walk into D&D halls every other week, I might do those numbers.
There's absolutely no reason. Yeah, if you could find a Games Workshop that was going out of business and they was going to go, right, okay, like, we're going to sell all of our stock for X amount of money, you'd be taking that.
Yeah, but it would be a case of get in line, right? There'd be a queue around the block for it. You've got to be the only one there. So,
yeah. Project Game says, if you weren't in Tech and Sports Group and saw what schedule that he was doing and what money he was earning, would your time schedule be different?
I'm trying to work that one out. If you weren't in Tech and Sports and you saw...
I suppose what he's trying to say is, are you influenced by that? Would you be doing something different if you weren't?
I doubt it, because I've always been basically obsessed with whatever I do. So I probably would have been working like crazy hours anyway, whether it's like his group or not.
Yeah. Matthew Mills said, do you find that you have a lot of returns of clothing? Are there times you struggle to find decent stock?
Great question.
Yeah, really good. Do I get a lot of returns? Absolutely. It's one of those things that is like a terrible part of selling clothing. You get people who try it on, it doesn't quite fit, or the sleeves are a bit too long, and they're going to return it. So I do personally 90 days free returns. So I pay for all returns, and I give people 90 days to actually return it. And you know what? Okay, I take all emotion out of it, and I will literally go, right, okay, yeah, comes back, refund them, get it photographed, get it re-skewed, and that's going straight back into the store. Move on.
It has to be part of the job, because if it's personal, and we've all been there, haven't we? You know, in the early days particularly, you get a return and it messes you up for the week. It's like you're fuming. It has to be, deal with it, refund them, relist it, move on. Because if you let it get in your head, that's it. Yeah.
Take it out, take the emotion out of it. And I think the other question being, do I struggle getting stock? It's the hardest part of this job. If anyone tells you that getting stock is easy, they're right. Getting stock is easy. Getting really good stock that's going to earn you a good chunk of money, that's not easy. Right. If anyone can works that one out, then they're doing very well.
I think a lot of people get into clothing because it's everywhere. Every charity shop is full of it. Boot sales, there's piles of it. It feels like it's just, but like you say, you have to have the knowledge. You have to know what you're looking for. You have to be able to check it over for condition and all the stuff we used to do that drove me mad.
Yeah.
And then you have to have a good system for cleaning, photographing, listing, doing all the measurements. There's a lot to it. It seems simple, and I think a lot of people get drawn into clothing and then hate it with a passion. You have to be the right kind of person, I think, to do clothing well. And
it is boring. It is boring. I'll be the first one to admit that it's very, very rarely that I actually find something that I go, oh, I found this. Okay. Whereas I watch your videos and go it's flipping got a first edition a D&D book there. That's incredible. Whereas got another Hugo Boss tweed jacket. Okay, yeah, it is what it is.
No, we don't have one first edition D&D book. I think we've got about 200 of them. It's crazy.
Yeah.
James says, "Don't blame me."
It was James and Mel, definitely.
Kerry says, "How have you streamlined your process over time, please?"
Again, it's another really good question. I do try and if the little plug, my video that I put out today goes into a little bit about exactly that, about the importance of processes. And I think the most important part of processes is actually to get faster at doing anything. Do you need to add things to it to make you faster, or do you have to subtract things to actually get you faster? And 9 times out of 10, you need to take things away to improve your your speed on there. But just having dedicated areas, as I said, like for you, Nick, like how much easier would it be? Like your new kind of like desk setup, like the one you built, like incredible. That's amazing. But what you don't want to do is actually fill that with stock and like have that. You want that clear so you can actually go. But like, it's all about having these processes in place.
Right, I'm not going to turn the camera around right now. I'll be embarrassed. But yeah, I mean that is one of my problems. I have never been able to keep a tidy space. It's like my mind is not a tidy space, so my office reflects that, and I battle that daily. And I know that is a problem in my business. And if someone came in here and told me that, I would hate them for it. But I know it already.
Yeah,
right? And I battle against it. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress, that one.
Yeah. So Darren says, no worries, a pleasure. That's amazing, Nick. I thought you had every Depeche Mode vinyl ever made.
Well, I'm collecting the UK issue Mute stuff. This is technically a bootleg, but it's an awesome bootleg. This is the first tour I saw them on in 1990. You don't know how good a gift that is for me. Honestly, Darren, I'm just blown away. Absolutely blown away. Believe it or not, we are rapidly approaching the hour. I'll just give a warning. We do end these with what we call words of wisdom. We try and end on a positive, and we take those words of wisdom from the chat. So have a think. When we get to the end, we'll let you know, and you can pop in your wows, as we call them. We'll read a bunch out.
I am about 10 minutes behind in the chat, though.
We are miles behind, as always. What we like to do, Simon, when we have a guest on, is we'll read a bunch out, and you can pick a favourite that touches you in some way or reflects you. What you like.
Lucy has a question. Do you have any contacts from car boot sales? Do they offer you offer you just clothing, or do they offer you other stuff? It's for you.
Yeah. So yes, I do like build up like contacts. Not huge amounts. I do struggle with that side of it. Do they offer me other things occasionally? But most of them know that I'm very much kind of like that I'm after clothing. I'm after men's clothing, and I'm even like with that, I'm picky about what I actually like buy. So they might go like, look, we've got like kind of like 4,000 bits of clothing. I might go like, I'll take 4 of those, please. So I'm super picky.
An interesting question I like to ask people who have really niched down. Do you find it hard not to pick up, if you see a Generation 1 Transformer sat there, you're just going to go, no, it's not a men's clothing?
Pretty much. There are the very occasions. And usually, like, and this sounds really bad. The times when I would normally like pick something up that is like so out of my niche, I think it's to do with YouTube. Because I know that people like are bored of like they don't want to see me like picking up like clothing, because most people go like, that's boring. Whereas like if I picked up a DVD like a DVD VHS combo recorder, that I know people like gonna go, oh, I think, but I pick it up, I'll pay £5, I'll get it home and go like, oh no, I've got to test this thing.
You've got to test it, you've got to clean it. Yeah.
And like 9 times out of 10. It's probably still like sat in the corner, like, and I probably won't ever get around to actually dealing with it. And it'll probably be like kind of go to my charity shop.
There's one up there that I've had forever.
So
this is a quick question, like really for you, Nick, like, and like from someone that there was like someone asked about like, do I have a death pile? And my death pile is probably about 45 items. Like that's my death pile. So no, I don't. So my question to you is that, like, do you not walk around and look at your stock, go, I have got thousands of pounds here, thousands and thousands of pounds.
Yeah, and it gets overwhelming. And that's another part of what I do that I've never really got the balance right with that. But we're all opportunists, but I think you've clearly got the balance right with that. But if I find something that I know I can make money on, I buy it. And I've never really fine-tuned or got the balance right with that. So I buy everything when the opportunity's in front of me.
Yeah,
I grab it.
And I think that there is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And yeah, absolutely. You can't like turn away money, like money thing, but that's fine as long as you can actually process it and get it up for sale. If you're buying it because it's got money, but then it's sitting in a death pile for a year, 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, like there's no point in actually even buying that.
Yeah, and I don't, like as I said, I haven't quite got that. I've never mastered that part of it.
You need another reseller to come along and actually like say, Nick, right, I'll give you like £10,000 for like X amount of your stock.
Well, interestingly, over the years, I've got much better at bundling up stuff, going to a boot sale, clearing stuff, doing a big bundle just to move it because I'm not going to deal with it. Selling big bundles to other resellers. I do much more of that. And once we start processing through this, there'll be a lot of that going on, I think, just to get it down to a manageable level. Because I can see what the problems are. Here's the thing, Simon. It's not that I don't know what the problems are. I just don't know how to fix them.
Yeah.
That's my brain in a nutshell.
Well, maybe you do know how to fix them, but you rebel against that.
But I rebel against no. Yeah. I can't be told what to do, even by myself. That's how mad it is. Right?
So like kind of like so you I'll come over and actually like kind of come and give you a hand like to like a bit of organisation on one day, and like you can get me like fish and chips. That'd freak you out, wouldn't it?
It would, honestly.
Yeah.
For you to come in here, definitely right now, if you were to come in here, I'd be embarrassed, I think, by the chaos, right? Yeah.
That you should never be embarrassed, like kind of, but like the big thing, you've had a massive life changing thing. So moving house is ridiculously traumatic anyway. Moving house, but moving a business as well, and like the intricacies, because I moved my stock from a couple of garages into here, like it nearly broke me, and like I'm ridiculously organized. Like what you've got is like, yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way. Give me a few months, and if you do want to come over and check out my workspace, you would be welcome to. I will open the doors, and you can be as brutally honest as you like, but give me a few months because it's going to take me a while just to know where everything is.
I will put it out there. I would even say that like if you want like someone like just a bit of like a manual labor, okay, I'm happy to come over and I'll give you like a day, and like we can actually just doing a bit of tidying and all that side. I'm more than happy to come over and like give you a day.
We'll do that in the future, and I'd love to come and see your setup if that's feasible.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah, brilliant. All right.
And are you going to do this for YouTube as well?
More than likely. Right,
quick question.
Past the hour.
Sims has asked this twice now. How much of the clothes that you source do you wash?
Good question.
It is a good question, and like I do try, and this is like there's a bit of a caveat. I do try to wash like all of my clothes. Easier said than done. During the winter months, it's a lot harder. It's easy to wash. You've got to get them dried as well. So I've got like tumble dryers. I've actually got multiple rooms to like dry stuff. Things like tweed jackets, I will steam those. But as a general rule, I would try that. And certainly like since the weather's been lovely, like everything gets washed. During the winter time, is as long as it's like I would take a decision. Like as long as it's clean, smells fresh. There's no like kind of like odors or anything like that. I will take like a reading on that.
One thing, and I think we've still got a couple of crates somewhere with stuff in it that needs attention. Right? We used to buy a lot of vintage. There was a lot of really good money in vintage women's clothing, but there'd be a button missing or a little bit on the hem needs some attention. It never got done. But my tip on clothing for people out there is, if you're not very organized and efficient on that, don't buy the stuff that needs attention because you won't do it.
100%.
We've still got stuff that we're probably going to sell in bulk or take to the boot sale because it will never get done.
There's a saying, don't buy a project. Like it's a thing. If you're like into like doing projects, then great. If you're not, leave it behind. Leave it for the next person to buy it.
I think I might be able to speak for you as well. We are both struggling with that. We kind of love the thought of, we'll sand that down and do such and such, right? That's your line. I'll sand that and paint that. It's not.
Yeah, I love the thought, and I do intend to do it, but life just gets in the way, and it's not a priority. I stopped it on the beginnings of the wows.
Oh, okay. Yes. We are 5 past the hour, so let's start having a look.
So the last question here from Master of Pieces says, Simon, what's your goal for YouTube and social media?
I honestly thought, like, and this is like this is the arrogant like part of Simon, that I kind of wanted to be like the best. I wanted to be the top. I wanted to get like more like subscribers than the Nick and Andrea Hill's like channel. But the realization now of actually how brutal like YouTube actually can be is, I'm more than happy to just like bumble along. If I earn a little bit of money from it, that's great. But it's not my big soul kind of like purpose nowadays. And I think like really like quickly, I think without getting like political or anything like that, I think if you look at a lot of like celebrities, for example, like John Turode and like the Master Chef, like and Greg Wallace, whatever, whatever like your opinions of those, I think things like that, anything in the media, like and that side of it, that if you do anything even remotely badly, like there's a witch hunt about it. And I'm thinking, like, do I even really want to be in that kind of world? Like, or do I want to like concentrate on my little business, do the best job I can possibly do, maybe do a couple of videos about like what I do for a living, but get into any like kind of like big like levels? Nah, I think I'm all right.
Yeah, and you need a thick skin. We've learned that over the years.
True indeed.
Right. Do you want to pick up some?
Okay, so yeah,
words?
Mark has started us off with words of wisdom. Build relationships before you need them. Invest in people consistently, not just in crisis.
That's really good.
I'm sure this was last week's as well. Break the mold.
Yeah, that came up last week. Okay.
Right. So
What was Ricky just saying about the eBay Open?
I don't know. They're having a conversation amongst themselves.
Are you going to be at the
I
Open? We briefly had a chat last time. Are you going to be up there?
Oh, I'm going to be there. And I will probably be vlogging again.
Okay, cool.
Ricky says, pickles are just cucumbers in spicy water. You can either be the pickle or you can be the cucumber, but you can never be the spicy water.
I want to be the spicy water now.
Lucy says, comparison with myself brings improvement. Comparison with others brings discontent.
That's so good. Oh, wow.
Will says, clothes make the man. Naked people have no influence. That's a Mark Twain quote.
Wow.
Apparently.
Okay.
James says, if you go and watch Coldplay, don't go with work colleagues.
I take it you've seen the clip.
Yeah, very wise.
Yes. Ali says, work, rest and play, keep life balanced.
That seems to be about my story of my life.
It's funny though, I must have chatted to probably 40 or 50 resellers in these chats over the years, and I don't think anybody's got the balance. You know, we're all kind of on this up and down kind of trying to figure it out, and it's not easy. Working for yourself in any area is not easy, because you have to be committed, and it has to be your life, it has to be your passion. So then to rein it in and compartmentalize it, and it's I don't know. That someone out there who's figured it out, you know, get in touch and we'll get you on, because I don't know what the answer is.
Steve says success is built one customer at a time.
That's good. These are very good.
And Ross is in with a Tolkien quote: "It is not the strength of the body, but the strength of the spirit."
Ross knows I'm actually like a fantasy geek, so yeah, that's playing to my strengths.
Nice.
Don't get caught going to a Coldplay concert. Oh, we've got a. Sorry, I didn't notice that. And we've got
it's Krillin,
a super chat.
Who used to be Krillin.
Yes. You go to non-English speaking places for clothes?
Do you go to non-English speaking places for clothes? That's an odd question.
No, I wouldn't say anything. There is the opportunity, like, to maybe go on a business trip to Pakistan to actually like source clothing from there.
Oh, I see.
Like that. Or you can go to like there are places like in the UK, like rag houses that they speak very little English. But me personally, like I only get like mine from like people who like speak English.
I don't know what Ricky's saying.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Ricky's saying that was an open invitation from Nick, as in coming to here to have a look around. No. That was an invitation to Simon and Simon only. Although Ricky, if you want to pop over, kettle's on, you know.
I'm looking forward to seeing Ricky. Actually, I've not met Ricky. Like, and he doesn't do a lot though. But the more I speak to like Ricky like occasionally. Like, it's such a like thing. His video, like his presented with his awards, was like and really quite touching. Like just the whole thing about like I've never won anything and like struggle that. And I rate that, and I rate that he's going through like a growing like he's trying to grow himself and try and grow his business and just be the best person he possibly can. And like, yeah, I'd like to like buy him a pint without a doubt. Absolutely.
It's worth another mention. If you haven't cast your vote for the eBay Awards, we saw Shellin earlier and Ricky, obviously. There's a whole bunch of people from our community are up for an award. So please, it is important, go and place your vote. Give somebody, if somebody's helped you out, if you've enjoyed their content, just go and drop a vote. It's really important.
Lex said, "Oh, that's so lovely. Last time I was in Nick's Tack Cave, I rearranged his stock."
Yeah, we had a meetup in Hitchin and we had kind of a pre-meetup party at ours. It was chaos. Yeah, a house full of resellers messing with your stock. Right, are we at the end?
I'm looking for wows. I'm seeing if I can find any more.
No, was there? You passed one.
Did I? Oh, yes, I did. Sorry. Darren.
If reselling did superheroes, 5 a.m. Simon. There you go. You're a superhero in the reselling world
now. Sharon's got one here. Without your health, you have nothing. It's very true.
Right.
If I'm going to take anything, I'm going to take that I need to look after myself a little bit more.
You do. We all do.
Yeah, that's true. Lainey says, other people's lives will always seem better than yours because you're comparing their director's cuts with your behind the scenes.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. That gave me chills. That's a good one, Lainey.
Yeah,
it's so true.
Good with her wows.
In this world of, Instagram reels and highly edited YouTube videos, we don't know what's going on in people's lives. You just see a curated version. So don't compare yourself to that.
Nick and Andrea partying this year? Are they open, I'm guessing?
Always. Well, yeah, we'll be partying more than we did last time. We were exhausted after that day.
Yeah, it was a long day. But yeah, we'll see.
Right. There's one more I can see there, Sharon.
Yeah, that's Sharon. Don't forget, we're all individuals. You do you.
You do
exactly.
You. Was there anything that jumped out at you, Simon?
I actually wrote it out. The very first one, I don't even know nothing, but from Mark, like literally the first word of wisdom.
Let's see if I can find
Probably
it.
Like a long way back.
Do you remember what it was?
No, but I wrote it down to actually say that I really liked it though.
Oh, crumbs.
Yeah, it's a bit.
We've had loads. There's James's.
Yeah,
if you go and watch Coldplay, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't the Coldplay one. That was funny. That made me laugh.
Oh, there we are.
Right.
There we go. Build relationships before you need them. Invest in people consistently, not just in crisis.
And for me, I think that's the bit that I'm really trying to push to build relationships, to build my business to the next level. The only way that I think making friends, being honest about what you do, telling people what you do will be stand you in good stead to actually help you grow. I think if you're trying to do everything on your own and be a lone wolf, I don't think it's as good as trying to grow and as I say, have people around you and just build relationships.
Yeah, I would concur.
Yeah.
I mean,
community.
And YouTube's done that for us, and it's done that for our business in ways we could have never imagined. So just putting ourselves out there, and all I've ever done is say, this is me doing my thing. And it's helped our business no end. And we could have never predicted that. And it wasn't the reason for doing it, but it backs up exactly what Mark has said there. building relationships, just
I agree.
benefits you all round. So what wonderful way to end this. And if you don't follow Simon, how can they find your YouTube channel? Well, I've linked it below for a start, but it's The Gentleman Marketeer. Can I just ask, before we leave, where did that come from?
Honestly, I don't actually. I can't even remember.
Okay.
There is like a there's a few of my good friends, like it's like with guys and like that who will like ridicule you. If they're really good friends, they will take the absolute like Mickey out of you. So like that in other terms, I'm known as the gentleman raconteur. So like kind of like that basic thing, but I honestly I can't even remember where it actually came from. I think I was just like coming up with different names, and I thought I kind of and now I kind of think, oh, it's a bit long. It's a bit of a long-winded like kind of name, but it's something a little bit different.
I think it's stuck now. You can't go changing it now. That's what you'll refer to you as.
Well, like, it's set up as company house, like kind of like as the company as well. So,
well, yeah, it's done now then. Yeah. Well, thank you, Simon, for joining us. Thank you for sharing your time and your knowledge and being honest and open about your business. As I just said, please go over to Simon's YouTube channel and follow Simon over there. What can we expect coming up on YouTube? Have you got something in the works?
Potentially. I will give you a thing. I may test out to see. I'll put it out there now. Like I haven't actually decided definitely, but can I 2x my business? So in other words, I'm listing 15 items a day at the moment. What will happen to my store if I listed 30 a day for a week? I kind of like want to test that out to see what that does to my business.
That's a huge jump. Although having a YouTube channel is good for those things because you can put it out there as you just did, and then you kind of have to back it up. I use YouTube for that quite a lot. I say I'm going to do something, and then I feel kind of obliged to do it.
I'm sure there will be like kind of like people even within my close like network who will go, right, Simon. Yeah. You said you was going to be. Oh God!
You may live to regret this, but there we go.
Yeah, that's quite big, but yeah, like that, and the usual things. Like I think I've got like picking and packing orders to do. I've got those due. It's whether I do them tonight or whether I do them tomorrow morning. But I think I've got like 40 orders to do tomorrow morning, so fairly busy.
Excellent. So thank you all for being with us. We've still got 270 of you crazy people stuck with us right to the end. So thank you very much. If you enjoyed the content, please stroke the like button gently on the way out. Turn off the lights. Go and support Simon on his channel.
Neil says, remember to vote in the eBay Awards. And if you have, remember to vote in the final of the Ice Lolly World Cup. Voting ends tonight at 10:30.
Wow. Okay. We'll end on that bombshell. Thank you so much, Simon. We do appreciate your time. We'll do this again sometime. And the invite was genuine. At some point when I'm organised, you can come just for Simon.
and like likewise as well. Like you're more than welcome to come over.
Perfect. That was a great chat. Cheers, everybody. Take care, Simon. See you later.